Okay, here we go. Ohio. Say it with as much energy as my Duolingo says it. Ohio. Good morning, all. Good morning, Geek. Good afternoon, Mars. Good morning. Hello. Okay. Ooh. I realize I got my desk a little higher, so my head might disappear down on the screen. I stood up this weekend to stretch out. We were um, doing some planning, and we were at the computer for quite a long time on the weekend. So, uh, yeah, so I raised my desk and I didn't lower it to the same point. It seems so. Okay, and if I start it now, the dogs will get scared. But anyway, developers.stream. So we return to this project. You all had a good weekend. We had a snow flurries on Saturday here. So hopefully the weather's going to turn around and come a little bit nicer. Apparently North Jersey had snow, which is not good. Okay. Okay. It's flurrying here currently. Oof. That's it's springtime. Come on. Come on, weather. Let's get it sorted. Okay, so we left this last week with okay, I'll do that. I'll leave that there. With basically we were able to log in, we were able to link our Twitch account, and once we'd linked our Twitch account, it then only showed us your Twitch account is linked, right? Twitch is linked. Again, all we grab is the channel name, and it worked fine. What I've just done this morning, just before stream, is start to make a little bit of a change to this, so that this link that I was building previously in the UI isn't hard coded in there, right? We do have app settings, and I've built out some stuff here. Whether this will stick around like this, I'm not sure, but we'll find out. Client ID and secret are set in my secrets file, so that's fine. But redirect URI, code flow, redirect URI, I just kind of tweaked a little bit because these are different redirects. The problem with this is great. This works for my streamer profile service. It's fine as long as we are in server mode. If we go to API mode, that will be broken, right? Because if we're in this side of things and we're using the client side, then we can go and get, Twitch registration link, right? We can go and get that from the API if we want to. Let's go link. But now we've got to duplicate this, right? Is that the worst thing in the world? No, but I'm starting to get the feeling that I have to, as a to make sure that I can support both scenarios, I have to make the effort to keep these in sync. And the least amount of code I can write to make sure that's possible means the less chance of divergence on that code. So what we're going to do is, to achieve that, we are going to either move some of that into here, which I'm not entirely a fan of, but that would allow us to properly organize that. This already does it a little bit too much because it pulls three repositories in, which is not stunning. But register channel intent does not care about the actual platform, right? So it doesn't care about Twitch or whatever. And that's the problem, right? So we already have link Twitch account, which is invoked from here, link account called link Twitch account. Obviously, we don't we yeah, we can flip this. We can flip this a lot. But let's not get too far ahead. So what I'm thinking is if register channel intent my concern is if we go to YouTube and YouTube, oh, it's Mojo, good morning. And we go to get YouTube and YouTube doesn't use the code flow perspective, then this is kind of different anyway. So I'm building this a little bit too generic when all I have right now is Twitch. And really what I should do is turn around and get the other side in. Like get another channel, get another type in there, like YouTube there, so that we can validate the design there. Otherwise, we're going to end up with a mess. Harish, good morning, good afternoon, good day. Hope you are well. So let's. I don't want to duplicate this, but in the same, I think if I go too deep on the refactoring in the organization, it's going to make a mess. But I do want that to at least be available in the client. So Twitch registration link, we'll go to here and we will do that. And that will pull there. We don't have the user identifier, do we? We don't have enough information. We would do though, wouldn't we? Okay. You know what? I'm not going to panic about this right a second. I can always come back around and redesign this afterwards. I'm gonna get too far in the weeds if I start doing this. Right now, we don't have this scenario. We can implement it later. The challenge is this. We got to pass this into this one. We have it. Okay, we have it. We'll be fine. But let's not worry too much about that piece right a second. I did change this last week. Okay, so we got stream profile, Twitch configuration, program profile. That was to remove the hard coding from the actual page. So no matter what we do, we expect a URL back. That's that, and that's that. Yeah. And now we don't have, now I don't have the actual client ID hard coded into the actual application. Move fetching Twitch registration link into click, push that off. That's just a change there, so that can roll back that. And that's just a formatting. That can stay there for now. It's not gonna hurt anything. As always, if you have any thoughts, questions, or opinions, especially about this stuff where I'm kind of potentially cutting some corners, you're more than welcome to chat. Okay, so we now need to get rid of the seed, right? Because this doesn't make any sense anymore. Seeding the streamers does not make any sense because we can't use those because they don't have any ID. They're not linked. Those only get created when you link your Twitch account or when you register a new user. So presetting them now doesn't make any benefit. We do need the platforms, so we do want to add the platforms in there. You know, we could do others. To use Copilot like things that is built in this editor. Yeah, I do use Copilot to suggest some things. I do have it turned on, Copilot suggestions. Sometimes it will annoy me. Sometimes it will help me. It's a little bit frustrating when it starts to get ahead of itself. So I've learned the turn it off shortcut, but yeah. Why is that up there? That should be up there. Okay. Remove seeding. Let's not touch that one right a second. Remove seeding of streamers from migration service. Okay. So now we get towards, the reason I'm not committing that one is because it's a minor change and it will go away afterwards. Okay. So let's run it and we'll walk through what's coming next. What about you, Hirsch? Do you use Copilot? What are your thoughts on it? I'm a student. It can be helpful, especially once you've written enough code that it's got a little bit more context of what you're doing. So it can save you on some of the really repetitive stuff. If I build a lot of classes that do a certain thing for a certain entity, then when I go to do the same sort of thing, it will help me. Over time, it does learn more about your patterns. So, and actually, Rider now kind of offers to learn your style rather than actually trying to hold you to a code editor. It will actually, you can actually set it to learn the style. I don't use it to solve problems very often for me. I don't often use the chat in here right now. It's not in my workflow. Not to say it wouldn't be helpful, but I think it's not something I personally use right this second. Okay, so we're going to go to localhost 7102. But yeah, I do use AI. I use Copilot in the browser, in the IDE, and find it quite useful. Okay, so if we log in, we can log in with Twitch. This will redirect us. Okay, and now we go to profile, and we have Twitch is linked. Okay, so we don't have that button, and we have our profile loaded, so that's all good. I'm going to start my tech journey from August. What are you going to school for? So you start school in August? Yeah, they heavily use C#.net stuff. Huh. Okay, we don't have a home button. we have no way of getting away from our profile. So let's fix that first, shall we? Okay, so web, configure components, layout, main layout. We need this to go to. We probably need to move developers.stream over to the left, but yeah, I'm from India. Nice, nice. I mean, the best thing I can say about going to school, like the best advice I can give is don't restrict your learning to what the school is teaching you. Build stuff, write stuff on your own, ask questions. Like I didn't go through well I graduated high school. I did go to some college. I completed almost 3 years of college, but did not finish an actual degree or anything for them. And obviously this is a long time ago. But one thing I realized is that the school is only going to teach you what the school can teach you, and they have to stay focused on getting certain milestones met. If you're stuck on something, if something isn't settling in, or if you're not going to write great software by going to school, you're going to understand the basics and the structure, but you're not going to understand how to write software. And a lot of code is held back by overly book perfect. Gotcha. I mean, I'm going to start my job from now. Okay, so you're in school now, and you are graduated, and you are going to start your job in August. Nice. And yeah, but that matters even more. Don't stop your learning, because you may not get the mentorship in the same way, because you'll be expected to complete a job. Write good code. Okay, so this is you can't do that, can you? That won't quite work the way I want it to. Oh yeah, I forgot these today. Nice. Well, then it doesn't change my advice. Keep learning. Don't just restrict yourself to okay, that gives me what I want. Okay, we just don't need to class equals I don't think that's going to do what I want it to do. Oh, there you go. I think we need to move that over to the left. Are we in Tailwind mode, or are we in, what are we in here? We're in Bootstrap mode, aren't we? Div class top row. div class row div class call I'm making this up as I go along, by the way. I have no idea if this is going to work. I'm going to do that. Yeah, see, that broke almost immediately. Tailwind is good to use when native CSS when we get used to it. Yeah, there is the CSS purists will not agree with that. But yeah, I get it. Did I include Tailwind in this, or did I just leave this as there? Really? Is my brain not working on this today? Configuration, app raiser. There we go. Okay, so we got Bootstrap in here. Yeah. Developers.stream.web styles. Main layout. Yeah, we do have Bootstrap. Columns. Align item start. Align item center. Okay, why do I have to do that every time? There you go, that'll work. That's better there. I want to... Oh, call. Okay. Row. No. I'm basically in a grid. Container. Right, but that doesn't mean anything. So if I do that and remove that, right, that's not going to do anything. Yeah, it's going to, because I think 12 is the division, so. Okay, I'm going to move this off here so I can. Razor is something similar to reacting to well, Blazor is something similar. That might upset some people the way I say that, but basically, Blazor is Microsoft's kind of server client technology. You can do client side, you can do full server side, you can do mixed mode, which is what this is, where some parts can render on the server, some parts can render on the client. You can pick and choose based upon your use case what you want to do. I'm still learning my way around some of this stuff. This is not normally with Liquid Sky. I've developed in Angular, where I'm a little bit more comfortable on the client side. I haven't done much SSR there. But yeah, Blazor. I'm doing this in Blazor and Aspire because it is a Microsoft tech stack, and this is an open source project. Delta, good morning. Canny, good day. rolls in, fails the stand-up motion and fall nose first. Like, don't want to fall nose first. I've done that. I did that in drama. It was painful. No joke. I pretended to fall. I fell. I hit my nose. It hurts. And nobody was impressed. Okay. So do I have to put this in a container to get this to go full? Is this going to div? Uh, container. Let's see what this does. Ooh, that does fun things with 100. No. How long have you been in this .NET world? Wow, though, too long. I have, well, in this .NET world, very little time, but in .NET, I have been doing this since 2000, professionally, since about 2004. I've been using .NET for almost 25 years. Progress is okay today. We're doing some developers.stream. I'm not as stressed about making tons of progress on this. I think it's fun to show my learning struggles. But yeah. Are you joining in the pile, Delta? Okay. But yeah, I've been a professional developer since 1999. I worked in other things, and then found .NET in the early 2000s, and it's been my place. I love .NET. I think I think Microsoft have made sure to evolve in the right directions, even if sometimes I don't necessarily feel that it's the most uh, um, well supported, I'll say. But yeah, it's been my home for a long time. I just want to put that over there because I think it'll make sense. I just want to figure that out. Um, let's do this. Let's do the way I would normally do this. Let's figure it out. Really, .NET has been the most stable of the frameworks, only paralleled by Spring in Java, and in Java you had to choose right to get Spring. I think .NET's had definitely its ups and downs. I think bringing in Miguel de Icaza and bringing in the Mono team to make sure that .NET could be truly cross-platform has kind of changed them. That was a really solid choice, making sure we weren't just the Windows developers. Now, and it's still a stigma that attaches, right? People think .NET, they think Windows, but it is a more capable framework these days than it was, and you know. I think I just guess. I think I just would like to see more effort on when they bring out these technologies. Put some effort into the best practices and here's the parallels. Here's the parallels, and here's the the migration? What does it look like to build? And I haven't seen that. I mean, I guess you can rely upon community support so much, but the community has different approaches, right? And I think these frameworks and libraries that Microsoft build seem to come with the expectation that, especially in this open source world, they're just going to keep piling things in there, and like Google, they could say, "Oh, we're not going to support Blazor anymore." Um, and honestly, I'm more confused in this. I mean, okay, I've created a lot of stuff already for this. We probably could cut a lot of this down with some reflection, reflection on the purpose rather than .NET reflection. But I find myself more confused seeing C# everywhere and thinking about, I'm on the server, I'm on the client. What is this doing? For the most part, I know I'm on the server here, but yeah. Running a console app on a Raspberry Pi is so awesome. Yeah, being able to build your .NET app and make it work on the Raspberry Pi without any extra effort is. I mean, that was always the dream of Java. Java's older. Obviously, Java came around years before, in the mid '90s. Yay, it's on its way. I hope that's good. He said he was thinking about it. I don't think he said he would. Nice. What I'm trying to do here is figure out how to stretch that across there and make that. This is where I get. Did I really close the Bootstrap documentation? I think I closed the Bootstrap documentation. Up. Yeah, but I don't want to do so. Oh, that's what I was going to do. I was going to do border one, border. How do you set color in that? Let's see. Nope. I am clearly struggling with Bootstrap today. Examples. What exit? Grid, breakpoints, containers. So what is top row? Top row is a style. Sorry. Max width 640. Okay, so we have breakpoints, position sticky. Okay, so we have top row there, top row there, top row normal, height, display, flex, and okay, so we're using flex. Oh, I wrote in the Discord, how do you test? Oh yeah, sorry, I was on the sofa last night, not at the computer. And how do you test adding 2 items in Entity Framework? I kept running into issues with the change tracker and the records not actually being. So you're doing integration testing. How would you run into issues with change tracker? Just the DB there. You're calling save changes after you add. if you call save changes, as long as you dispose your context, that would commit that would commit the transaction. So I call add cab twice in a row and it would give me errors like this record's already trapped. You're giving it the same data? Are you manipulating the object? I'd have to see the code, honestly, to understand that. I've not seen it. It would be in the added state, but not in the unattached state. And I don't have any examples to look at right this second because everything's abstracted here with repository, etc. But actually, I think I pulled in infrastructure application repository. Yeah. So if we go to hey Apex, good morning. Stream is going well. We are. I am struggling with Bootstrap. So add async. This is Ardalis' code. It adds the entity and calls save changes. That's it. So as long as you're doing something like that, you know, then you should be okay. It should be attaching properly, unless you set up your DB context in a funny way to not track, which would give you some issues there. Because then you're responsible for doing all the tracking and setting the states. Oh, in-memory database. Don't forget, in-memory database does not behave the exact same way. Why are you doing attach and why are you messing with attach and entry there anyway? Why not add? So you got cab content, you're adding the customer, can add two cabs. You're adding to the customers, then you're creating you're creating two cabs. I think you've got a mixture there of that is some very chaotic looking code. I'd have to pull that to tinker with that bit, but yeah. I'll have a look later, Delta. I'm around in the evening. I'll give it a look. Just ping me a reminder. I'll download it. Hey Malvi, what I'm making. So this is developers.stream. This is a project aimed at trying to help promote developers who stream. What we're working on today is the well, apart from me being struggling with the header bar, once I get past this bump, I'll be making it so that I read these streamers and only show the streamers with attached streams. The concept here is that you, as a streamer, a developer who streams, registers your account so you can log in with Twitch, registers your account, and then is able to link your Twitch, YouTube, etc. Channels to your profile. On doing that, you will appear in this list, and it will show you. This is what we're going to work on today. It will show you the channels that you actually stream on, and then what we're going to do is you can control this text, and we'll add tags and stuff so that you can kind of help promote other developers who stream. Eventually, moving towards creating an API, an actual API for people who sign up to this site, to be able to query that data and interact with that data, and potentially provide a kind of a dashboard panel so that in your stream you could hook up bot integration, and if someone joins your stream, it can look them up, see if they are a developer who streams, and give you some profile information so that you can shout them out, or it can shout them out from your bot, etc. So allowing developers who create bots and stuff to better integrate and help promote other developers. So I am, as always, getting stuck on the simple stuff, the the stuff that is, what does it look like, rather than yeah. So what I was just looking at here was if this was doing anything particularly weird. Justify content space between, top row, justify content flex end, display flex. So that should be top row. I'm the same way, Dota. I have no idea. I'm not sure the iPhone app doesn't work differently than the Android app either, so I'm not sure that's not something to do with it. Okay, so we have a div there. We have a row. So why is that nested right in there? That feels like that should be... should that be a container? Ooh. Width 100. Gotta do that. Gotta do that. Reload, enable hot reload without debugging. Save. Why is that? That's closer to what I want, but it's not perfect because that's now full width. That's everything there. Let's not panic about it. It's fine. Call. So, yeah, if you're new to the stream, if you have any questions, thoughts, opinions, or if you're not new to the stream, you're more than welcome to share. So yeah, this one I have Twitch linked. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do a query. I'm going to change this now. I'm going to just leave that as is. Navigation back to main page, main page from profile. I've got to not get stuck on the layout, on the UI, etc. We'll do a pass of that entirely as a whole thing. Again, I know me. I know that I'll get stuck on the nuances, on figuring those things out, and it'll just not go where I want it to go. So we're going to move on from that. Now, we have server streamer query service, get live streamers. This is not, why is that not navigating? No. Whatever. Okay. Oh, the keyboard just isn't working. That's why. Nothing's working. Hello? Oh, there's a mouse. Is Windows Bluetooth stack gone nutty? Or am I not? Am I out of power and didn't see it? There you go. I think my keyboard was out of power. That doesn't explain that one, but okay. Yeah. It was like my keyboard just all of a sudden just stopped responding. You're wired though. I wasn't wired. I'm Bluetooth. I'm going to assume that there's no lights on here for if it's charging. The only reason I know it's charging is I can see it's drawing 0.8 amps. Yeah. Oh well. Anyway. So, we're going to change this up. This isn't get live streamers. This is get streamers, or yeah, get streamers, right? And this is we're going to rename this streamers with linked channels spec, right? Dot where s goes to s dot channels dot any, right? So now this should remove those other three streamers and only show me, because I've got a linked channel, right? Let's start with that. Ow. Headphones sat funny on me. Okay. We'll give that a second to start. Obviously, this code may look kind of, it's going to look different. To me, it makes sense because I've done a lot of the same patterns with Liquid Sky, right? So if you're used to seeing the stream, you'll see this sort of style appear all over Liquid Sky. The purpose of this, though, is to completely open source this to make this friendly. So if you are worrying, oh, if I pull this, I have no idea what it's doing, right? I would encourage you to join the Discord. You can check out the code now. This branch is available. You are more than welcome to check it out. It won't be very useful to you if until we go through some really good instructions, and that's deliberate because I don't want to pull people into this until I'm comfortable supporting it. So there we go. I am now the only streamer that this is going to produce because those other streamers, as great as they are, haven't logged in and linked their channels. So basically, if you check this code out and you want to ask questions, if you're confused about the structure, if you're confused about the path through the application, you're more than welcome to join the Discord. You're more than welcome to ask questions about it. I will create a specific channel for it if need be, and continue that conversation off stream. There's a lot of little pieces in here that do make it easier from a code perspective, but it will make it a little bit more challenging from a design perspective, especially if you're not used to seeing the patterns. So I've got this streamer DTO, and this maps it. But what we need to do here is now the streamer DTO needs to have public IEnumerable of channel DTO, I suppose. I don't like that name. Public string name. Share kernel. So streamer DTO here has no concept of anything else. Oh, it has platform identifier. There you go. It has platform identifier. So public platform identifier, platform, public string URI. Okay. So from here now, we'll do channels equals, this is where this gets a little messier, I think, from C in s.channels, select new channel DTO, C dot, so platform equals C dot platform dot name, URI equals this is an interesting one. So if I do that, so this will take a string and it will yield a platform identifier because I've put implicit and explicit casts in there. What I don't want to do here is, if Twitch, if whatever. So what I'm thinking of is not doing that. Channel DTO, channel platform, channel name, and doing name equals C dot name. Now, hey Covoid, how you doing? What I'm thinking of here is if I have on the platform identifier, if I have string the URI pattern, let me do, I don't know how I wasn't following. Well, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it. .tv slash, yeah. That can be installed. The great thing about the development community on Twitch is people tend to flow between a lot of the same channels, so you get to know each other. Watch kick.tv. Site address. Let's do that for right this second. Public string. Worry about proper naming and stuff afterwards. We'll see what we're doing. So what I'm thinking here is now we have that because we have that query service in the page. So don't forget the streamer card is here. The streamer card has the streamer. This is that DTO, right? That is a DTO, an enumerable of that. So the streamer card takes that. And we actually did create the code behind for this one. Sweet. So now the streamer card, this is going to be interesting. Do is for each var. Again, I'm going to make baby steps towards getting a cleaner design here. I'm going to not try and figure out, oh, how am I going to do the images and stuff now? I'm just going to loop through the streams. Streamer dot channels, right? And then streams, stream, channel, sorry. If channel dot platform equals Twitch. And then we're going to do ahref equals, Lou is taking some getting used to. Hey, Phil Schnabel. I played with Lua years ago when I was trying to play with learning more about game programming and stuff. I know I was fascinated by this concept of building scripts and changing the behavior of my code by dropping scripts in there. Then realized I could do it in .NET anyway. But yeah, I just don't chase that sort of stuff these days because it's just, I don't have enough brain power. So this is going to be channel.platform.address. Oh, this is going to be weird because I'm going to have to define. I can't default that. Let's assume that it's going to be ready. Channel dot name. Let's see if it works. Okay. TIC80. You have link privilege, Feel Snubble, by the way. You're a VIP. You can link if you need to. I know you won't abuse it. Channel.platform equals. Now this one will never show now because we don't have that. div. Let's do that. Let's do. So sometimes you got to do this to see the commonality. You can already see this pattern, right? Where this is the actual thing. And we don't need that in there. We don't need that in there. We don't need that there. We just do the icon. It's the thing that displays that is the this is there. Let's see if we get it working. Stony, good morning. Hope you are well. So I'm not too taken with that design. I think that it leaves a lot to a mess. Like it doesn't really work very well for me. I have an idea as to how we'll make it a little bit more consistent, but we'll get there. Do. Good, I'm good. Been on to fix the bug. How are you? Doing good. Doing good. Here we go. So now that should link to this channel. And we'll have channel section. So now we have that. Let's go back there and do title equals channel.name. Let's apply that. So at least we should have a link. TB Gamer. There you go. I stream things and stuff. So we now have this only showing the streams, the channels, or rather, I gotta figure out the right name for this, but the streamers who have active channels or linked channels will show here, right? I am the streamer, they are the channel. Okay. Well, nothing's as much as having to write mods. Our order system at work is written in Business Basic, and I think it sucks. Long time since I've done that. I know we've talked about that before, right? So, okay. Let's go back here. Let's refresh this. So this is what it looks like. So if I go to my profile, you see my Twitch is linked. We'll provide some way of removing that. That's my name. I stream about .NET stuff. Working on Liquid Sky project. Planning tool and developers.stream. This site. Using. So we update that now. About there. I stream about .NET stuff, working on Liquid Sky and developers.stream. So you can start to see this is what I'm intending it to do. So you can tell people, here's what I do, right? We'll obviously have to put some limit on this. We don't want this to be, you know, someone's going to come along and test this and look, what happens if I paste the US Constitution in there? Or what happens if I post, you know, the entire works of J.R. Tolkien, right? That's not going to be good. So maybe, hello, how are you doing? Oh, Grand Bro, thank you very much for the raid. that appreciate it. Thank you very much for the follow. I just saw maybe waving. Welcome in, Raiders. Maybe I had you. I was lurking on you. So welcome all. You just joined at a point of success. So yeah, we are working on developers.stream, and right now what we've got working is we have the ability for a streamer to register with the site. So the idea would be that you go in here. Let's actually go to this window because it has, yeah. So you'll be able to go in here and you can, I'm thinking I'm going to remove this ability. I do not want to be responsible for tracking passwords. So this panel is likely going away, but ultimately we'll focus on you logging in with your Twitch or YouTube or Discord or whatever providers we provide, right? We can provide a bunch of them. You log in with that and you get to your profile. You're able to set your globally accepted name, right? So TBD Gamer. If you're anything like me and you have a channel on YouTube and a channel on Kick and a channel on Twitch, you might not have the same actual name, but you might go by a name, right? So yeah, so that's the name you would see. You provide a description, and what we'll work on next is the ability to kind of add some tags, so languages, all those things that Twitch does provide you the ability to do. But then you'll be able to update that and then link your Twitch account from within there. So not only will you be able to log in with Twitch, but you'll then be able to link those other things. So those other platforms will gradually extend what you can link. And all that is a verification that you actually do stream. You can get to that account, right? So this is going to link to my TBD Gamer. So now when I go back here, you see the card and you see my channel. And this will only show people, if someone was to come along and register with the site, log in with Twitch, log in with whatever, but never links a channel, they won't show in here. Yeah, so the goal is to kind of help promote developers through stream. Right now, there is no moderation to this, which means that any streamer or any person who has a Twitch account and can log in can then link their channel and they would appear in here potentially, right? So you can put whatever you want in there. We're going to have to provide moderation because as much as I'd like to say that everyone is never going to be malicious, it's just not true, is it? So yeah, now you can see if I click that, you'll see the Twitch and that will open up my channel. I had to close that quick because I could hear myself. This is open source. This entire project will be open source. The intention is that I will get the general structure in place, get all the pieces lined up to be able to take this. I will fork this to my personal repo and continue working on it, pushing back any changes that are useful to the public project. But then you'll be able to take this code and build on it and learn from it if you choose to. So I am sharing this. I'm not trying to make this just what I need. If someone wants to take this and base something else off of it, they can do that. If someone wants to just use this as a learning tool and look at the pieces and experiment with things, they can do, right? So yeah, this is first pass. We're not going to worry too much about this right second. I do have some other ideas there. So get streamers and streamers with linked channel spec. Get streamers should only pull streamers that have linked channels. Include channel details and platform UI. Oh, that's keep platform URL. Gonna grab some lunch. Look, enjoy your lunch, maybe. I did forget to ask. I hope the interview went well. But enjoy your lunch. Keep platform URL close to platform identifier. Yeah, you said you were preparing for an interview last week. Stream repair. Nice. That is good. That is good. Nice. Well, best of luck. Display streamer with. There is. Appreciate the luck. What word did you use there, Covoid? Language in this channel. Ah. It hides it from me. I have to click it to see it. There you go. Yeah. You have stuff to do. Well, I appreciate the hanging out. Display streamer with the linked channels. Provide link to open channel. There we go. That's that. You'd think I'd just include that commit as part of it, wouldn't you? Oh yeah, that's important. So let's do that one. Change API to use get streamers instead of get live streamers. Format. For readability. Okay. Okay. Let's push that. So again, this is initial build. If you want to check out this code, if you want to play with this code, I'll get you that link in a second. This is on the TD Friends GitHub channel. That is a GitHub account. That is a set of repositories that are just stuff I've worked on over the last 6 years with streaming. Any projects we do on stream, anything that might be of interest, anything that might be useful to everyone is up there, including the original developers.stream site. So that initial build is there. Okay. So what next? We finished it. It's fine. I think tags would be useful. Again, what I don't want to focus on is necessarily the layout, the UI. I'll start focusing on that once I've got those features in place. One thing that would be useful, let's do a bit of research before we go too far. YouTube code auth flow. Authorize it. No, not that one. That's going to be the challenge. YouTube dev. Auth 2.0. Let's not make that full screen so it's not quite as bright. Create a client. This is the same way we would do the Twitch thing. I mean, I assume they're going to be all very, very, very similar because, you know, that's kind of the nature of using OAuth, right? But that doesn't mean. Here we go. Secrets. I love how they've got, hey, we support, you know, these libraries. And then, hey, code sample, let's start with PHP, which is down the list there. Let's not even show Go or anything default. Let's just show PHP. Python, Ruby, Rest, Node. Okay, bro. I apologize. I am really, very sorry. I did not ask what you were working on your stream. I do apologize. I got diverted by talking to maybe a bit. Oh, Rust. Let's follow. There you go. State. Any string value that the application uses to main state between your authorization request and the authorization server's response. Okay, so this is the same process, obviously. Response type code. So Google prompts for user consent. Server response scope. Redirect URI. I'm wondering if it's how simple is it right now to go and provide the YouTube equivalent of the Twitch thing, and then we've got YouTube and Twitch covered in almost the exact same way, right? Let's assume that it is. Let's do this. I'm going to move that over there. I'm going to stop running. Look at me being all like, oh, I'm bold now. Again, the flow here is going to have to tell me, like, I'm not asking for scopes. I'm just asking for them to validate using my client ID, right? And I want back their sample access type offline. I don't want Google Drive. I just want auth. Really? Ads already? Huh. So what I'm trying to see is if I can figure out. Let's figure out what I would need. So I need an app in the developer program. And I think what we would do is we'd only show the buttons for the links based upon you having credentials to do the auth piece, right? So we'd actually lock it down. So if you check this out right now, you're not going to have a client ID in secret, right? You're not going to have those configured. You're just not going to have them. And you're going to need to set up a client ID in secret for each platform that can be authored with. Because we're going to do that code flow. Basically, if I make it so that it checks to see, do you have credentials? And if you do, it shows the link. And if it doesn't, you don't even have the ability to, when you log in, like we showed, you wouldn't have the ability to link the account. I think that's probably a good way of handling that. What I'm looking at right now in terms of is, where do I create specific example prerequisites? Open the API library, Google Cloud Console. I'm not going to show this because I don't know what I'm going to show and when. Select a project, game stack, game library. No, new project. This is going to be developers.stream. Organization. You have 20 projects remaining in your quota. That's fine. Developers.stream. Select a project. Okay, so that gives me that. Go to project settings. Oh, that's confusing. Go to the clients page. Hold on. Okay, get started. Okay. App name, developers stream. Support email is my email. Next, audience. Only available to use within your organization. External. Your app will start in testing mode. You will be able to use. Okay. Thank you, one line, for saving me then. Create clients. I have no idea what I'm creating. This is hilarious. Web application, developers stream or link. So I'm not providing the login with YouTube. I'm providing the link account. Add JavaScript origins. So this will be HTTP localhost 7102. So what I've got to do here is I've got to configure this part, right? I've got to configure this part for YouTube, right? So essentially I'm going to do this. And this is going to be YouTube. And that's going to be YouTube. So all that's the same thing. It's going to give me back a state. It's going to give me back all the rest of the stuff. The only difference is I'm going to need YouTube configuration here as well. Options, YouTube configuration. This again feels probably not the best design. Let's have a look. Did I put this? But basically what I'm doing is I'm going down the design by, it's like pinball, right? or like pachinko, is it, where the ball drops from the top and goes down this. I'm just kind of feeling my way down to the bottom, and then I'll review and see how things work afterwards. It's okay to remove code. It's okay to move code around. To, you know, that should be something we don't. Infrastructure dot YouTube. Right. It should be something we're not scared of. And I just created an app host because, you know, why would I pay attention to the left-hand side of what I'm doing? Edit. Edit. Tools. Delete. Just work. I don't want an app host. Oh, it's restoring. That's why, because I don't have that running. So it's all confused. Edit, delete. Delete the project and the file system. What I found is that is not always consistent these days. Okay, there we go. That's very inconsistent on Mac, by the way. It does not always work. So what I should have done there is done class library, and this is developers.stream infrastructure.youtube. The naming convention here, if you're used to seeing Liquid Sky versus this, the naming convention on my projects here is more traditional. How you would normally lay out .NET projects, like the project or the company and the individual pieces. I dislike this because it's just a column of text and you've got to go all the way to the right to figure it out. But I figured it was probably better to structure this in the same way as I would do in a business situation, because it would be helpful. Okay. Interface. Dear. One day I'll know what I'm doing. YouTube client. YouTube client. Right. Let's make that YouTube client. YouTube authentication response. I'm seeing a pattern here. This is going to look almost identical, isn't it? Because I'm basically implementing OAuth. However, because I've not gone through this before, because I've not gone through this process a lot, right? I'm still figuring out my way here. What we'll do is we'll pull in the YouTube stuff as its own stuff, right? So we can see the actual comparisons. Once we get the YouTube stuff working, we can look back on these two things and say, okay, they're identical. We don't need to change this. Let's just move this all up to auth. And then all that differs is the client we go to or whatever we go to, right? So we can break those abstractions out once we understand the actual differences. But if I do it too prematurely, I'm just going to be trying to fit a square peg in a round hole, right? So let's take this for a second. Let's create a YouTube authentication response, and it's actually Google, not YouTube, but we'll make that differentiation later, because we want to make sure that even though it is Google, that we're clear that we are that we're clear that we're using YouTube, because that's the actual platform we'd be using to stream from, etc. So yeah. Okay. Let's not worry about that right a second. Let's worry about this particular piece because I'm thinking that this is going to be again almost identical. YouTube client. Okay, and then this is going to be that YouTube configuration. That's what we actually were trying to get before. YouTube. I've got to be careful. I do not hit the Alt Enter too soon. Otherwise, this is going to pull a dependency on that Twitch library. And that would be bad. Okay. YouTube authentication response. YouTube authentication response. We can do that now because now we don't have anything that's not. And then YouTube configuration. What these might actually turn out to be is a default configuration and then just pull the different profiles. However, I'm not going to assume that right this second. I'm going to continue building all this out as a complete duplicate of everything so that we can learn that lesson. Right. I'm just trying to get the structure in place so that we can get that. Okay. YouTube. I gotta decide whether I'm going to capitalize that or not. Well, let's figure that out later. Okay. But YouTube registration link. So the changes here are going to be really marginal. You can see the identical with very little exception. What we'd have to figure out is if we could break those down separately. Go here, app settings. So YouTube, and then we're going to copy all of this, and that's not going to be that. That is going to be that still. That's fine. And then this is going to be link account. Let's do this for right this second because we have. Let's leave that in place. We are going to need auth URL, but let's go back. HTTP localhost 7102 link account. Oh, JavaScript origins. That's not a redirect. That's a. I'm writing up my tech lead handoff notes as we rotate tech leads. Cool. Okay. Okay. So we're going to create that. And there's our secret. So let me move this over here. I've got to do that. Otherwise, I'm going to share a secret that I don't want to see. Tools.NET user secrets. And client ID. Okay. So let's save that. Okay. Sorry. Should I leave this in? I would like to remove myself from the rotation. I think what you should do is before you start a new rotation, you should do a retrospective. Now you've all had a turn. What did you learn? What's the usefulness? What's the downsides? What are you all expecting from it? Because it sounds like none of you actually got where you wanted to be. You all had your own agenda, which changed based upon the fact that your teammates wouldn't do what you wanted them to do or couldn't do what you wanted them to do. So I think you should have a retrospective. Okay, so with YouTube there, let's go to this. So what I'm wondering is, can I, with very little effort, get here? Let us see. So if we go to components, account, pages, profile, private, async, tasks, register, YouTube account. Again, this is actually register account. I'm gonna make this a platform identifier. Identifier equals Twitch. That. I need an end button. Or that was not my secret. That was the client ID. Or that. This is going to be fetch YouTube. Yeah, that's the right answer, but it's not the answer I want. Sorry. That's fetch YouTube. Okay, so now we have that. Let's do that. It is YouTube, right? So, right. So not a chance that this works, right? But we can hope. If this gets to code flow, it will be a miracle. Register account, platform identifier, Twitch. Okay, so then we can just switch the buttons. I mean, basically, it's a copy and paste. Just switch it out for YouTube. Again, the difference between so it's really important to remember that what I'm doing here, I'm not trying to make this the final answer. I'm trying to make this the confirmation of the pattern. So I don't want to make this the permanent solution. I want to go back and refactor this because there's a lot of repetition, a lot of duplication here. If I leave this in place, someone's going to come along and go, oh, I need to add kick. There's kick. And they just copy and paste everything else. And like I'm doing now. And that pattern is hard. The more you copy and paste, the more you duplicate what is there rather than reflecting on what is there and organizing the code appropriately, the more likely you are to end up in that pattern of that world where you're like, oh, I'm scared to change it. I'm scared to modify this because it might break now because I don't know how fragile it is based upon what I've copied and pasted. I can't tell the differences anymore, right? Stop. Oh, it makes it one line. That drives me nuts. I just need to put a line limit on there and it'll cause the wrap. Let's see if that works. I don't think no, it won't. It won't. There's one more piece missing there. Stream link. Wow. YouTube shows you your secrets. That's good to know. That's really good to know. OAuth requests per day. Branding, audience, clients. So what I got to figure out is YouTube OAuth to blah. Code flow. Where do we go? Google APIs, auth, YouTube. No. Right now, all I'm trying to do, like I said, is I'm going to build the most basic request and see if it actually works. So that's the auth URL. Okay. So that's the auth URL, right? Let's see. Let's see. What's the worst happens? It errors. If we get to that breakpoint though, that would be amazing because it would mean we've almost got YouTube auth working in one day, in one stream. And this is still relatively new to me in terms of the workflows. It's challenge of working with a lot of legacy apps. Let's go here. Okay, so we bring this down here and now refresh. Go to our profile. Right? No. Come on. Go to our profile. There we go. Okay. So we got our button. Link YouTube account. Profile. What? No, that did not work. That as much as I'd love to say that worked, it did not work. What? Developers.stream. This window. Channels. So you see, it created the state, it created it for the platform, so this channel. However, it did not make that round trip. But it did redirect. That's insane. Why didn't it redirect in the right direction though? Because it should have, what it should have done there is it should have hit, that breakpoint. Didn't find the associated module. That's not running. Why are you not running? Oh. because I have link. I wanted it to hit this breakpoint, right? So let's rename this link account because there's nothing particularly Twitch about it up until this point. Command code state. So we pull the state, the channel, and then actually we do have YouTube client. They are both of that type. So then let's channel dot platform dot name equals platform identifier dot Twitch else away YT client dot. Oh, of course. Don't do that. Not right now. So what I don't want, I'm trying to preemptively optimize that, right? So I realize that they are very different. Fetch channel name. This is a method, right? This Twitch channel name. This is a method. We can't possibly do this yet, right? So one thing we do need to do is when we go and get the list of streamers that has highlighted that, right? Domain, application, specifications, streamers with linked channel spec. This is great and all, but channels any C goes to C dot is verified. We can't have where C dot is verified and C dot state. Yeah, where C dot is verified. We can't show that YouTube channel. We do need to delete that record as soon as we're actually running it, because that shuts that browser, that shuts that down. Now, concerningly, I didn't hit that API endpoint, but I did get far enough, which is concerning. So why don't you run? Why don't I get a breakpoint here? Come on. Okay, that was hell here. No. Some services not able to be constructed. Ah, there we go. Client. That's why. Okay. We have the need to add the Twitch client. Builder.services.http client. YouTube client. Client goes to client.base address equals YouTube auth URL. I think I need that in here as well. Yes, I do. So let's take that. My concern with doing this the way I'm doing it right now is that I am going to end up with a bit of a mess in terms of the organization of the code. Because again, I've not done this pattern of kind of having multiple pieces moving. And so the organization of this will change. Already I'm starting to feel that the concept of an auth client is generic, and this is my YouTube version, this is my Twitch version, and that the configuration is kind of generic. I just pull the right one for the right thing. Like there's some consistency there. But we'll figure that out. So these are technically all about the auth and the linking, but let's see if we can figure it out. It'd be great to end the stream with this, but I'm not hopeful. Or rather, I'm not confident. I am hopeful. Let's go with that one. Like it would be awesome for this to actually work, but let's see. Okay, you do have a debugger there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, save that change. We're going to remove that YouTube link. We're going to refresh this. Okay, so now we have this. If I click link, again, you generated that channel, but you did not call back. Why did you not call back? It didn't hit this at all. It never came back into that link profile. But the configuration is set that way. Link account, right? Oh, it's not allowed to do code flow there. Let's try that once more. Go here, we do that. No. So that, when I click that, I'm dropping off. Thank you for streaming. Apex, thank you very much. Funny story, Apex. I actually got the notification, like on, when did you stream? You streamed like Saturday, I think. I got the notification like 9 hours later that you were streaming. So I went to look for the stream. I'm like, there's no stream. Like I got the notification on like Saturday evening or something like that. Uh, Discord. Discord finally told me. You'd posted it at the right time, but it finally notified me. Discord popped up and was like, oh, by the way, streaming. But thank you very much. Take care. Have a great day. Not, yeah. It's funny. Yeah. But have a great day. Hope it goes well. Again, if you enjoy game dev, Apex develops using Godot and C# and does his game is starting to come along, starting to take a lot of shape. So I highly recommend checking him out. Okay, so we're not winning here. YouTube just basically redirects us straight back in. Response type close. Hold on. That basically feeds us back to ourselves. But it's meant to go to 7173 link account. Take care, Mojo. Enjoy your day. May it be stress-free. Okay. Anyway, we're not gonna win this battle, I don't think, today. So we were close. I still feel we're pretty close to that process being in place. The link account bit, what? And on the topic of game dev, again, Canny is a Godot developer, works primarily in GDScript, but does also use the C# thing. Was working on some game jam stuff last week, some radio menu game jam, I believe. I was looking for a lot of your stream, Canny. I do apologize for not saying hello. I was hanging out as much as I could. Yeah. How was that going, by the way? You having fun with it? So why does YouTube just turn around and go bleh? It's the question. Save that. There you go. There you go. There you go. Okay. Well, we validated we won't show an account that's there, but if we go to inspect, so what happens is this returns a redirect URL and then redirects me to that URL, which then navigates me right back. So I suppose the first step there is actually figuring out what in the heck I am doing with that link. Am I actually getting back the... There we go. Okay, so let's user state that. F10, F10. What link am I getting? Oh, I'm not getting an auth URL. That's why. And my redirect URL is stupid. So that is why that's not working. So we are going to fetch YouTube registration link. Streamer profile service. So when we get here, YouTube configuration is not set. So that is because we have not done the relevant pieces. So we're getting blanks. We are getting blank strings. Of course, this is going to happen now, because why would it not do? Yeah. Builder.services.configure YouTube configuration. Snooze that one. There we go. Okay, so I don't think that counts for down here, does it? No, it doesn't count in the same way up there because the server side's tackling that piece. Let's run that and see. Okay. One more go. One more go. Let's see what happens. Is that running? Oh, it's initializing. We're getting there. We're getting there. Yeah. There we go. Okay, so let's remove that record. Save that. Refresh that. Now link that. We should hit our breakpoint. Okay, we got a better process there now. 5 that. Link my account. Continue. Oh. It worked. It worked. We just need to fix that part. Oh, come on. It linked me there. It definitely said, "Yep, I'm good." The problem was it decided that this, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, yeah. Um, the API also needs this stuff, right? Um, so here's the problem, and why I'm getting confused. I have a website that has the configuration. It has a lot of this configuration, not all of this configuration. Then I have an API that has another part of this configuration. They all kind of combine into Twitch or YouTube configuration, and then I redirect from here back into the site. So that's going to continue to be confusing. That being said, I do have to finish. So I will be back tomorrow with Liquid Sky Development. Some probably some organization, some lining up to get the merges done to do the deployment to the little box. Right, so at that point, the challenge there is the little box will be invalid, and I'll have a broken thing until we work. We need to win the lottery so we can do this all day. Yeah, that would be awesome. Or build a product that makes money. That means that I can afford to just sit here all day and code and have a product making money. That'd be awesome. Great progress though. Thanks for sharing your dev journey. Well, Lane, thank you very much for the support. Thank you very much for hanging out. I hope your day is off to a productive start. I know you are busy. But we have made some progress, and hopefully I'm gonna focus on this on Friday. I'll get the secrets and stuff in, see if that flow works, and then leave it rather than try and fix it off stream. If I can avoid that. But what we'll do. Oh, hello, Loki. Hello, buddy. What we'll do is on Friday we'll get this up and running with the YouTube account. So now we can link our Twitch and our YouTube accounts to the streamer, and that gives us a little bit more flexibility there. And then maybe we'll move towards working on tags after some refactoring based upon progress. But yeah, we're going to go and raid Mr. Box today. I like raiding full bots. He's a nice guy, great developer. His game is awesome. I highly recommend checking out Blockshop. Don't forget, if you like .NET content, if you like Blazor content, One Lion is a way better Blazor developer than I am. Way more competent, and I would recommend checking out his stream. He streams Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays right now, and it was Fridays are community days. We had an awesome conversation on Friday about AI. I really did not like having to go and take a meeting during that conversation, but it was a fascinating conversation, and highly recommend checking out his stream. But we're going to go raid Mr. Box. Back tomorrow, not developers.stream, Liquid Sky tomorrow. Some cool stuff coming up there. We've got some extra features planned, some in the near future, and yeah, things are going well. Trap, thank you very much for hanging out. Hope you have a great day. Take care, and thank you all. See you soon. Bye.